So if you didn't know, I've been making YouTube videos since 2016, and I've been watching art YouTube even longer than that. And today we are going to be going down memory lane, and I'm going to try old art YouTube challenges that had their time, but now they're gone. With the oldest one being the very first YouTube challenge. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see just how much art YouTube has evolved over the years. So with that being said, let's start with the first old YouTube challenge coming from everybody's least favorite year, 2020. All the way back in 2020, we were all bored in the house, we're in the house bored. TikTok was just starting to get major traction here in the US, and I feel like every single person could not get on art YouTube without seeing customizing iPhones. At that time, customizing iPhones were pulling in tens of millions of views, and it was absolutely fascinating seeing people take these $1,000 phones and turn them into $2,000 pieces of artwork. And you know what? Even I participated in this trend. I customized my mom a brand new iPhone, and she still uses it to this day. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. This is my old iPhone, and the very first thing I need to do is prepare the phone. And this is the worst step on planet Earth. I absolutely hate this step, but I'm gonna have to sandpaper it. Okay, here we go. I don't want to do this. So I finished the painting, and I decided to go with a cute little Valentine's Day theme. And I'm not gonna lie, the whole entire time that I was painting this iPhone, I kept thinking about 2020 as a whole. And I just remember that during that time, they had closed the craft stores, and for some reason, I couldn't order new art supplies. I forgot what the reason was, and I got so desperate for needing a canvas or something to paint on that I actually customized a vacuum. It's kind of interesting because this art challenge was so expensive for what it was. This next art challenge was like the total opposite of this, because in 2018, it seemed that everybody and their mother wanted to see the dollar store art challenge. Now, this challenge was super fun because you would go to the dollar store with like $5, $10. You would buy whatever you could find and challenge yourself to make art for as cheaply as possible. And I think the first one I ever did was in 2017. And for some reason, I drew Bender from Futurama. If that isn't proof that art YouTube was dramatically different than what it is now, I don't know what else to tell you. And by the way, before we go any further, I do realize that there are literally hundreds of different art challenges out there, maybe even thousands. So if there's an art challenge that I missed, or maybe one that you did or used to love watching, let me know in the comments down below. That way we can all reminisce together. But anyway, the dollar store art challenge. So I'm back from the dollar store. Here are all the items that I got in total. I kind of bought a little bit more than I needed. And somebody tell me, what happened to the Dollar Tree art supply selection? Where did it all go? All I saw was school supplies and craft supplies. What happened to it all? But anyway, let's go ahead and jump right into this challenge. Okay, sorry to end this segment a little bit earlier than the other sections, and I only made this with pencils, the children's sketchbook, the Sharpie, and surprisingly the whiteout. And the reason I made this challenge so simple is because I wanted it to be as accessible as possible, because I feel like if somebody is looking for cheap art supplies, they're probably looking to make art for as cheaply as possible, and this is what I was able to make with less than $5. And another reason I wanted to keep it so simple is because I'm disappointed in Dollar Tree. You see, back in the day, Dollar Tree used to have a huge variety of art supplies, and I was able to make some really awesome artwork with $1 art supplies. But nowadays, the Dollar Tree is shifted towards more crafting, and their art supply selection is very limited. The very limited art supplies that they do have there, the quality, in my opinion, has just really gone downhill. So much so that I would rather use whiteout as a white pigmented paint more than their actual selection of paints. I do have a list in my description box of like the best art supplies that I think you could get for under $20, but in my opinion, I think there's so so many better options for your money than Dollar Tree nowadays. Which really sucks because I used to love Dollar Trees. Nothing in this world's sacred anymore. Even though this was kind of a difficult challenge to do, this next challenge we were absolutely on one in 2017 because Art YouTube was full of the 3-marker challenge. Out of all the challenges, I feel like this one is absolutely timeless because it basically forces you to learn color theory. I don't think I've ever done this one specifically. I thought it was so cool because I did the 1-marker challenge where I drew Frankenstein with literally one single color. So this is gonna be a lot of fun because this is a brand new challenge to me. Okay, so to start this off, I'm gonna need this big boy. This is my big marker set, aka my pride and joy, my everything, I love you, kiss kiss. And some artists who do this trend, they just pick the markers randomly, but for me, I kind of have an idea of what colors I already want, and it's gonna be these 3 colors here. Definitely not colors I would normally go for, but that's the whole entire point of this trend, so let's see how I do. On a real note, I think that this might be my favorite artwork that I've done so far. This challenge was 100% pure creativity. As an artist, it's so satisfying and it just scratches an itch in my brain. And I do recognize that it might be a little bit controversial that I cleaned up the drawing with a white and black pen, but like 99% of the artists that I've seen do this challenge, they also do that. So I hope it was okay. But yeah, I really like this drawing. It was a lot of fun to do, which is good because this next art challenge, I am absolutely terrified of. This next art challenge I have purposely never done because I've always thought that it's just straight up way too difficult. This is the 2015 Pancake Art Challenge. So if you've never seen this challenge before, which I highly doubt, I feel like literally everybody who's seen this challenge, you basically make a piece of art with pancakes. And this challenge was so popular back in 2015. Some of those videos have literally hundreds of millions of views. It's insane. And I can barely make a pancake into a circle, let alone a whole entire art piece out of it. You know what I mean? So let me just do a quick prayer and let's hope for the best. Alright, so to start this off, we're gonna start already with a problem, and that's the consistency. You see, I don't want it to be too watery because then it's gonna spread out when I draw with it, but I don't want it to be too thick that it can't be fluid enough to come out of the squirt bottle. You know what I mean? So I think I found a pretty good in-between spot, but I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Then I'm just gonna fill up my squirt bottles with a bunch of pancake mix, add in my food coloring, and I'm gonna add quite a lot because I basically want to turn this into a paint. And I'm just gonna repeat this process until I have a little collection of colors that I need to make the artwork that I want to try to make. Keyword try. And look, I'm not gonna lie, I tried to do a tester just to see how this was gonna work out, and spoiler alert, it did not work out. In fact, it was the total opposite. It was quite a disaster. Yeah, that did not work whatsoever. But it was starting to burn, so I didn't know what else to do. And I swear, whenever I watch these pancake videos, it does not look greased up whatsoever. Like, there's not a bunch of oil or spray or anything on the pan. I don't know how they do it. It's like a mystery. I don't know how to do it. I don't know what's going on, so I'm just gonna have to heavily grease up my pan to guarantee that it doesn't stick. Okay, so now that it's greased, let's try this one more time. Okay, outline's done. I'm gonna let it cook. It's happening so fast. Oh god, this is turning into a disaster. Okay, I think it's done and I'm gonna try my best to flip it. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Okay, I think it's done. Oh my god! It worked! I'm gonna need a break after that. I'm gonna need to calm down. I'm gonna need a chill pill, some magnesium. Oh my gosh, that was so stressful. Like, we need to do an instant replay. Like, did you see the panic in my face when I was trying to flip it over? And looking back, I think that's why this was part of a YouTube trend, is because it's funny to see what kind of crazy item you're gonna draw. But for me, as an art channel, I'm ready to move on to the next art challenge. For this last challenge, this is the very first art YouTube challenge ever created. This is the 2012 Mark Crilly Realism Challenge. Now, I know that challenge alone just aged some of you guys, including me, like a fossil. But that challenge was so important to art YouTube. So if you didn't know, Mark Crilly is a very famous artist here on YouTube and Instagram who in 2012 challenged himself to side-by-side draw an object and make it look realistic as possible. And the stuff he would create was just absolutely chef kiss. It would look so hyper realistic. And if I remember correctly, I believe this was one of my very first art challenges from like 2016. I think I did like a paperclip or something. It's been almost a decade since I've done this challenge, but that's good because that means that I have a decade of experience under my belt. So we'll see how I do. First up, I need to pick out what exactly I'm gonna draw. The candy cane is really pretty, but trying to replicate those little tiny lines exactly is gonna be way too hard. So it's out. Next, we have the large candy hearts that I have here, and these would be easy to draw in theory, but all the little tiny lines and grooves and detail would be an absolute nightmare. So they're also out. And lastly, we have these gummy hearts, and I absolutely love these. I love the way the light reflects through them. I love the color. They're perfect. But my job is not done yet because now I have to go through everything and find which one I think will be the best translated into a drawing. Spoiler alert, it's this one. And the last thing I need to do is I need to get rid of this weird double shadow that my light is giving. So I'm gonna turn off one of my lights so I only have one single shadow. And look at that. Perfect, prime, beautiful. Okay, I have finished the last art challenge. I feel like I did a much better job this time around than I did all the way back in 2016 whenever I did that paperclip. And it's crazy to me to think that like back when I was like 14 years old, I would be watching these Mark Crilly videos and just be absolutely mesmerized. And now, all these years later, I'm doing this as a job. It's crazy. And that goes for every single YouTube challenge that I've done in this video. It's so wild to see all these different eras of art YouTube, of where it started, where it was at, where it's going, what the future holds. I'm excited to see what comes next, and more importantly, bring you guys along. So I think I'm gonna end this video here. Thank you guys so much again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Happy drawing, and I'll see you guys next video. Bye.